Tell the feeling like I'm trapped in my damn mind. Tell the feeling like I'm rapping a damn lie. Tell the feeling like my life is a damn game. Nigga really wanna die in the nighttime.
Hey Munchkins, yes it has been a while, yes I know I ghosted, now before anyone asks, if y'all even care to, don't be mad, trust me I've recorded a few videos I just haven't posted because, I end up hating it, getting busy with school and or just lazy. Last thing, my Taylor short got a copyright strike from that fake Swiftie twink, so now what? Anyway we are moving right on, I'm upset yes but we'll just have to do better moving forward. Today, well kind of yesterday, ILLiT dropped their mini album or whatever, and Camila, yes Camila the raging racist Cabello, dropped her new single, so today we will be reviewing both projects. I would do a separate video but honestly who really gives a damn? Now let's get into it. ILLiT is a new girl group formed from a survival show that was a collaboration between HYBE and JTBC. The members are yunah, minju, moka, wonhee, and iroha. They made their debut on March 25, 2024 with the mini album, Super Real Me, having a runtime of 9 minutes. Yes, 9 damn minutes, like huh? What happened to an experience? To soaking in every aspect of a song, as much as you can. And yes, by this point, I am aware of the sudden decrease of runtime in K-pop which all has to do with streaming. Most labels make the same amount of money for a 2-minute song, as they do for a 4-minute song, so they opt for a short length because it is guaranteed to get more streams, and more streams is more money. But despite having a shitty group name, minors, a short album, and no talent if we are being serious, ILLiT's debut is honestly good. Well at least good in K-pop terms, and definitely better than I expected, and I was not expecting a lot, especially with that lineup. I think for me, and like everyone, everything changed once the highlight medley was released. I was so impressed by the change in visuals, and also the creativeness. Instead of trying to replicate Newjeans or some random western act, they were very creative with the 90s anime aesthetic, and I loved it, like they had to gag me. I'm a sucker for this aesthetic. The lo-fi city pop vibes are very gorgeous. Off that I knew I had to listen because, I had this feeling that this EP would be huge, especially in Korea. Also I really love the cover art. These days in K-pop we rarely see artists on their covers, just some poorly, half-done graphic design. Anyway, one thing that is taking over K-pop right now is, drum and bass and the Y2K aesthetic. Most of this being popularized by Newjeans. And I think it's very easy for current groups to give into the Newjeans craze, and either steal their whole brand, or we see a lot of groups try to do the sound Newjeans is doing, but a lot of them fail to capture the essence that makes Newjeans unique and successful. With ILLiT's Super Real Me, they managed to take inspiration from Newjeans, while bringing something fresh and adding their unique touch to a genre, and sound that has become so synonymous with Newjeans. ILLiT opts for much stronger beats as a foundation for most songs this album. This allows each track to feel explosive and like a burst of dance energy, whilst also feeling atmospheric. The production is so impressive to me, being very consistent and the standout thing from this project. My World is lighthearted with a very lively production. It opens with a look at the world from ILLiT's point of view. This world is mysterious but magical, and this is further amplified by the light but ambient synths that blend so seamlessly with the girls' voices. The backing track is bouncy and busy, but the use of smooth vocals helps make this balance almost sweet to listen to. It feels like it's supposed to have this magical feel to it, and this production and vocal performance help push this message. The chorus, my favorite part, has an echo effect layered with some harmonies that helps evoke the more mysterious aspect of the song. The second verse does have some obvious influences of Rad Museum, especially with how pitched the voices are. The track is very fun and catchy, but doesn't necessarily evolve, and the abrupt end of the track doesn't really allow the melody to flesh itself into a more memorable one. You have to play the song a couple times for it to feel like a real track, and it's way too good to be this short and stagnant. Magnetic, the title track, is a really fun and cute song that feels more complete than My World. The track opens up with these magical synths, and falls into an EDM sound that is blended with their smooth vocals. I also really like the use of glitchy vocals during the chorus, and the vocal passages during the hook. Now, the bed squeaking production is definitely a choice but I'm immediately pulled back with the bridge, which is very infectious. This is the track more reminiscent of Newjeans and Pink Panthers, but rather than stick to one soundscape, this track feels like a perfect fusion of many genres, like plug and beat music, heavy bass and drums, and beautiful synths paired with bright vocals, yet still feels fluid and rooted in its dance pop inspiration. Magnetics, warm bass line accompanied by small electronic sounds, Adds a fun, cartoonish vibe to the song, which would definitely match the anime theme used in the promotional video. It's a song that compares a heart beating fast to the person you like a magnet. I liked it a lot, and it's definitely the best song on this EP. The music video is boring though, feeling very dull in comparison to the sound. Midnight Fiction starts with a light reverb which has this sort of dreamy feeling, giving off lo-fi night vibes, then explodes into another bouncy cut accompanied with a guitar, which helps elevate the track's production. It's definitely the most electro bedroom pop track on this EP. This song also gave me a hint of Lusamble, though it ended up being my least favorite track so far. It truly had everything I wanted and needed to be this impressive B-side, but it ends up feeling just okay, and less impressive than the last two, with the highlights being the production and the whimsical nature of the girls' voices. And I know a lot of y'all will end up loving this, and I don't know, maybe I'm different, maybe I'm not like the other girls, y'all going to have to give me some time, I guess, not really. Lucky Girl Syndrome closes the mini-album, being another song drenched in the cuteness overload. The track opens with a whistling synth, and I did like the vocal distortion. This track has the most EDM influences in the chorus, but ends up just feeling dry to me. I did love the little laughs and kisses laced throughout the song. It helps add more youth and cuteness to the track. But even that isn't enough to leave me interested. Lucky Girl Syndrome feels like the end credits in a K-drama, and maybe that's intentional, but to me, those end up always being the most boring moments. Super Real Me is the most cohesive and interesting release from K-pop this far. I really love the production choices used. They were very interesting and fun, which is a good match to the theme of the release. I also appreciate that the girls' voices didn't sound so forced and strained. So good for you, yay, HYBE. Usually I end up hating your debut releases, but you actually managed to not fuck up something good. 1 point for you and none for Phantom. ILLiT's debut is a catchy and fun listening experience, outlined with a somewhat excessive bubblegum sweetness, that is sometimes adorable and most times, too much. And although I did enjoy listening to my two favorites, Magnetic and My World, I do have my gripes. Super Real Me feels very surface level, not allowing for a completely unique musical identity and image. I completely see where the Newjeans comparisons come from, similar themes and sound structure, especially with how impactful Newjeans' debut was. But Newjeans displayed and continue to display an understanding of musical authenticity, paired with thought-provoking imagery and intentional production. Super Real Me does not do nearly enough to show who ILLiT are, what new thing they bring, other than a new group that follows a trendy sound that is no doubt fun, but lacks overall meaning. Another comparison that can be made would be LOONA, having certain experimental pop cuts that can be dated back to LOONA's debut eras. Overall, I did enjoy this debut EP. The production elements are very pretty to hear. ILLiT has a much stronger debut than most 4th-gen groups, so not too much on them.
Supersonic, in your orbit, and in bed, diabolic. But I need you now and tomorrow. I love it, 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 I love it. Super twisted, sick addicted. Kiss me hard, someday you'll miss this. Me, I love it, I love it. Slow down, baby.
Next is Camila Cabello, who released her track, I Love It, which she has been teasing for a decade now. Camila is in a point in her life where to some, she can never do anything right, and to others she only does right. Truth is, no one is really checking out for her, especially in comparison to her debut, and of course, a lot of this is her own doing. I Love It is a hyperpop, trap, indie sleaze hybrid track in which Camila spends a majority of the chorus squeaking, I love it and when she isn't doing that, it does sound okay. The main issue lies with the generic, bland lyric SM and vocal delivery. The production has very interesting elements, sampling Gucci Mane's Lemonade into a hybrid hyperpop song, but then has very messily done aspects, which feel like a poor attempt at trying to be unique and interesting. And maybe this horrid mashup of 3 different sounds into one would have worked, if it wasn't background to Camila's very irritable vocals. Camila doesn't have a great voice, just a distinct voice, and that has fooled people into thinking she is a vocalist, but no. Hell no, Camila is obviously trying to have a thank you next moment, but her use of the sample comes off inauthentic, because she isn't using it to help build on the song, or help elevate it, but rather to seem edgy and cool, which is why a lot of Charlie XCX fans feel like she is using, specifically, the influence Charlie has had on hyperpop, as a cheap ploy to differentiate herself from other pop acts out now, rather than as a way to explore a new genre and do the best she can. Or maybe this is her best, whatever, it fucking sucks, please spare us the ear screams. Anyway, that's it, I'm drained, fuck that girl with the cheap hooker wig. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. XOXO Phantom.
Tell the feeling like I'm trapped in my damn mind. Tell the feeling like I'm rapping a damn lie. Tell the feeling like my life is a damn game. Nigga really wanna die.